Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Welcome back to your Valley Sports Plug Live. It is Tuesday, July 28th, 2026, and I'm your host, Chris Patrick. Tonight, Jacoby Brissett finally gets paid below the bare minimum. Mr. Clean Ketel Marte scrubs his Instagram account, creating chaos for the Diamondbacks once again. And 41-year-old LeBron James joins the Philadelphia 76ers, leaving Cavs and Heat fans feeling scorned. We're going to get into all that and so much more. Joining me tonight to break it all down are my two co-hosts, Mr. Benjamin and VSP Tallman. What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
I'm talking about the man on the Sixers, LeBron. I'm asking Tallman to say his name. Do it, Tallman, please.
No, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
my voice isn't as beautiful as yours. I'm so
dude,
sorry.
lots of money going around. This is the money episode officially, but excited to get into it. Once again, we're in the dog days, but there's just so much news. But Tallman, how you doing tonight, man?
Oh, doing good, fellas. Yeah, lots of money going around. Not a lot of money going to LeBron James, that's for sure. But Lord knows he doesn't need it. Do good. I'm sweating the Diamondbacks game for the last hour at the end of July. It's got to be a good thing, right? Baseball is keeping it interesting.
Yeah, what the hell? I thought the pace of play was supposed to increase, and this is hour 4 of this game. I get it's in extras. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Ghost Runner definitely helps, dude.
But yeah, man, Dbacks, they've been hot, kind of cooled off in the past couple days. So we'll definitely get into that. But before we do, I want to thank anyone who's watching live or listening back on the playback. We go live every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. right here on our Valley Sports Plug YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us at AZ_VSP on Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more. All of our links are down in the description below, and you can scan this fancy new QR code right here, and it'll take you to our links, and you can just do that. You can grab your wife's phone, your girlfriend's phone, your boyfriend's phone. You can scan that QR code, get our links, make sure that you're liking Valley Sports Plug, make sure they're liking Valley Sports Plug, and then you can send all those links to all your friends and family. But no, in all seriousness, thank you so much for the support, whether you're listening here on YouTube or on podcast streaming services, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, always going up next day on those platforms. Gentlemen, Jacoby Brissett showed up to camp, was standing around, but after a few days, the Cardinals finally got it all worked out with them. Tallman's our numbers guy. Tallman's always going to have the numbers. I think it's somewhere around 15.5 up to 21 million guaranteed. So 15.5 is guaranteed up to 21 million with incentives. I'm impressed with myself for remembering that perfectly off the top of my head. But gentlemen, could they not have worked this out sooner? I mean, it doesn't seem that crazy to me. Mike, what do you think?
I don't think it's that crazy, but I think it also shows that the number that he probably was going for at the first point is a lot higher than what this ended up being. I am just intrigued to see what he really got, but you got it. First try, Chris. Good work. 15.5 million guaranteed, maximum value of 21 million via incentives. The big thing is that there's also no new years added, so he still will remain an unrestricted free agent in 2027. And obviously, this is reworked prior to the 2-year deal he signed in 2025, where his base salary this year was originally slated for $4.88 million. We've had all of these discussions already. If you look at his numbers from last year, probably deserved, right? 3,366 yards, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. But man, I understand this is a tough scenario for him. He talked about holding out for this raise because he wanted to have respect for himself. And I don't blame him, guys. Like, he had all the leverage, right? He was looking to strike at his final opportunity for a big payday. And some could say that he might be putting his life on the line, even with the reworked offensive line. So I get it, but he also talked about how, negotiations got dark at points. And I don't know if you listened to the press conference from yesterday, but he talked about how he finally was going to be able to get more than 3 hours of sleep. And it's really all because he got this deal worked out. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of happy he was losing sleep, because every situation that Jacoby Brissett got last year, he failed to capitalize in every late game opportunity. He's a 20-45 career starter. He's 2-15 in his last 2 seasons. I would lose sleep too if I was that consistently porous at the helm of any franchise in the NFL. So my other big things and big takeaways from the press conference specifically was, somebody asked him, I think it was Johnny Venerable of PHNX Cardinals, but he asked him how he would respond to fans who were skeptical of his offseason holdout after the Cardinals were so bad when he was the starter. And his response was, I couldn't care less. The deal got done. So yes, players should focus on what they can control, their relationships with their teammates, coaches, putting in the work. But the question wasn't about the on-field play. It was an opportunity for him to publicly say that he's focused on football and improving and winning. Instead, he basically just said he doesn't care what people think because he got his money. So don't love it. Don't love where he's sitting as well. His lack of reps in the offseason and lack of knowledge. He basically blatantly said he doesn't know the offense yet. Now he is a veteran, so it should be pretty quick. And from what it looked like today, he was slinging the thing. So I'm still on the fence about this, but there's really no fence to be about. He's QB1. It's time to move forward, and it's time to hopefully win some games this year for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, Mike, and that is concerning, like his lack of knowledge and having to kind of get caught up quickly, especially considering we're 8 days, guys, 8 days away from football and that Hall of Fame game on August 6th. Granted, it's very possible Jacoby doesn't even play. If he does play, it might be a drive. But yeah, there's a lot to get into, but I want to give Tallman the floor before I add anything to share what you think, Tallman. What did you think of Jacoby getting paid?
I mean, it was about time. It was becoming a distraction, even though Michael Floor said it was not a distraction. I mean, that's the biggest lie so far for this young season. It was obviously a distraction. You couldn't talk about the Cardinals without talking about Jacoby Brissett and this whole contract thing. 15.5 million, I love how they put in the incentives to put lipstick on a pig here. He could make up to 21 million. We know he's not going to reach those incentives. And we can say that without even knowing what the incentives are. I mean, we don't know what they are. It's because he doesn't have an agent, right? Because you'd think they'd put that out there. Here's all the incentives. So he's keeping that. I'm sure at some point it'll come out what those incentives are, but I just don't envision him, having the keys to this offense for that long to hit any type of milestone, let alone win a lot of games. I mean, talk about him losing sleep over this. I mean, he's also lost a lot of games in this Cardinals jersey. So I'm glad it's over with. I'm glad we can stop talking about it. And to me, it's 15 million. I mean, you're paying Kyler Murray more than that to not even play for this team. It's money that they had cap space. They had over 35 million cap space. You knew damn well they weren't going to spend it. So, where's the loss here? There's no loss for us as fans. I mean, looking at it, it's a deal you got to get done. You got to save that locker room because there's the chatter. We talked about Buda Baker doing the tweet, him going out and training with some key players on this offense down in Florida. I mean, you got to sell this delusional idea that this team can win, right? Oh, hey, we got Love, the young rookie, very dynamic. Mike, you already talked about reloading that offensive line. Some of these offensive players taking the next step. Maybe you drop Brissett in there. He put up stats. He looked good at times. Maybe we can figure something out and win some games. I don't think that's going to happen, but you got to sell that. You got to pay the guy. Obviously, he's a locker room favorite. You can't go into an NFL season just in clear tank mode, which is exactly what this team would have been doing if we were going in week 1, Gardner Minshew starts or Carson Beck. I mean, you had to pay this guy. You did. And like I said, I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is being able to put this behind us. Like the off the field stuff, the distractions are not good for any team preparing for a season. And when you have other players starting to talk about it, and Buda Baker and him standing on the sidelines, not participating, it's just not good optics. Not to mention, I mean, we haven't even had a chance to talk about some of the other stuff, like our offensive line. I think offensive lineman Isaiah Adams getting arrested in Canada on some gun charges. And you got Trey McBride going on podcasts calling Chandler, Arizona the slums and saying that there are no fans. It's like, it's starting to kind of have this perception from my, point of view, that these guys, not to say they're not going to go out there and try on Sunday, but they already have kind of chalked this season up to a loss. And like, how is that going to translate to the field when you have a first year head coach that these guys might not like be ready, as like Ron Wolfley might say, go to war and play the blood sport. Like, are they going to really go to battle every Sunday for this new head coach and risk injury for a team that, let's be honest, has no shot of making the playoffs? Now I get it's any given Sunday. NFL teams, have breakout seasons and things can flip one season to the next, but it's just hard to see that it could be in the cards for this team. I'm sorry, I need to stop, but I don't know, guys. I like many Cardinals fans, like the Cardinals themselves, I'm ready to put this story behind us because there is other things to talk about as it pertains to the Arizona Cardinals. Some were mentioned there, but more than that, I mean, I think when we talk about now training camp fully underway, things getting started, I mean, where do we even start? There's clips going viral of Jeremiah Love struggling behind the offensive line, trying to find space, having to bust it back. People are saying this is Ashton Genty 2.0. There's clips going viral of Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping passes. This is the one I was referring to. Cuts it left. Oh, nobody's home. Oh, cut it back right. Now, this is no pads in the spring, half speed. I don't know if it's first team, second team. I don't know who these guys are. It's a big roster when you get to training camp, but not great. Again, optics are everything. Now, granted, you don't want to just put on some performative thing for a practice. You want these guys actually having some level of hustle in practice. And then, obviously I mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping passes, concerning, and Josh Sweat on the PUP list. He's physically unable to perform, apparently. And all we ever heard was, oh, Josh Sweat works out on his own. He's always in shape. He's always in the gym. He's perfectly fine. And all this weird offseason stuff about reports coming out that he wants a trade with when John Gannon got fired, and speculation on if he would be traded. And then, no, we're not trading him. And now he's on the PUP list. So, Mike, I want to ask you, man, and Tom and you as well, what is the more concerning storyline so far in training camp?
I think obviously the more concerning storyline for me specifically is with Marvin Harrison Jr. This is like the last ditch effort for this guy to show that he is a top 5 prospect and pick from, the 2024 draft, touted as a generational talent. And not only has there been a decent amount of drop passes, there was a couple today that I saw. He did, he's going to make plays, but the consistency is still just seeming so wonky for this kid. And then obviously he had the leg injury yesterday, and it looked like people were like, oh no, is it an Achilles? But he was out there today. LaFleur said it was just cramping. He's fine. He's obviously going to be okay. But I need the flashes to come early and often for him, because this is also getting close to the time frame where you got to start thinking about extensions and if he's going to be a true piece of your future, because they're going to have to pay Michael Wilson, who every single day continues to look more competent, more explosive than Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. And even guys like Kendrick Bourne coming in, who is a little bit older of a guy, but is a true professional. And before you know it, those target shares are extinguished if your quarterback can't trust you. And Marvin, for the biggest thing, just has to stay healthy this year. He needs to be out there 16 games minimum. You give him a little bit of wiggle room. You give anybody a little wiggle room, right? But it's got to be more consistent. He's got to get over 1,000 yards. He's got to be 8 to 10 touchdowns. Those are just the expectations from him this year, or else we need to start having those tough conversations that we never thought we truly would have. Some other quick storylines, Chris. Walter Nolan III looks like a stud, just causing havoc. Love to hear it. Same with Darius Robinson. I think that's the big, for a lot of people, a lot of Cardinals fans still is like, I've heard this before. I need to see it before I'm jumping back onto the Darius Robinson bandwagon. Talk about 2 first-round picks that have something to prove this year. And then the rookies looking like rookies. Apparently, Nathaniel Hackett specifically said for Jeremiah Love, I mean, he's definitely a rookie. So we saw some of those clips. And Carson Beck doesn't seem to be able to complete a pass past 5 yards. So it's early. It's first day storylines. Today was the first day of pads. You're always going to nitpick the first kind of things that you see. But the beautiful thing, I'll kind of echo what you guys talked about, is we don't have to talk about if Jacoby Brissett is going to be signed anymore. Now we get to dive into the real nitty gritty stuff. And that's what I love about the offseason.
Yeah, and like even more stuff, like, you know, Trey McBride did make those comments and then apologized. I think it was the OC was coming out and saying that all the rookies are rookies, including Jeremiah Love. And for some reason that upset some Cardinals fans. Like, what do you mean Jeremiah Love's a rookie? He's literally a rookie, guys. The NFL is much different pace than college. We've seen great college players come to the NFL and just not be able to do it. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to Jeremiah Love, but like, yes, give him a year or two. Like, how often do rookie running backs come in and explode on the scene? Once every blue moon? I mean, it's not unheard of, but guys, I mean, we're not even to week 1 yet. Let's pump the brakes, pulling out an old one. But Tallman, we've discussed a lot here. Are any of those more concerning than others, or is there anything else that you've seen so far that's concerning?
Yeah, I mean, with the rookies, I'm not worried about any of the rookies. The beautiful thing about the Hall of Fame game is we have that extra preseason game, and you know, we're going to see a lot of it. We're going to see a lot of Carson Beck. I'm curious to see how they handle Love in the preseason. I mean, the kid's he's got to play. He's got to play. He's not ready to start week 1. You know, you got to run him out there for a handful of those games. But one of the first preseasons as a fan that I'm actually kind of excited for, which is crazy. But with that, even with the you know, Mike, you're talking about Marvin Harrison and whatnot. I'm not really too worried about him, because everything here with the drafting of Jeremiah Love, the addition of Tyler Algier, I mean, we're going to be running the football. And what I mean by that is they're not lying to us saying that they're going to run the football a bunch. We're actually going to run the football, unlike last year. Well, of course, last year, everyone broke in half and got hurt. We ran out of running backs, starting Bam Knight for the last 5 games. But the depth is there. So I'm honestly, this offense is the least of my worries. Can't forget about Trey McBride. I know he's talking some shit, but he's going to show up and he's going to be ready to play. Defensive side, though, I mean, you mentioned the Josh Sweat starting on the PUP list. I mean, that's where I'm most concerned, just because all the rumors that were swirling around, him coming out immediately after Gannon was fired, saying that he wants a trade, and him not actually showing up yet. So I'm not in the camp of thinking that he's going to sit here. I mean, you're at that point. Camp's starting. We're coming in the preseason. You're not going to sit there and force your way out. I mean, it's not that bad. I don't think it is. I think he ends up playing, but there's a part of me, just as the Arizona sports fan, that's built in, where I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when he puts on the jersey, when he's out there, he's healthy, right? Because is he actually dealing with a knee issue? I know they're saying it stems from last year, but that's where it's like, okay, because if we don't have Josh Sweat, I mean, I know we talked about some of the young guys that we're expecting to take, you know, the next step up and actually produce. But he's the only guy that we have coming back. He had a career year last year, had the 12 sacks. It's like, we need him in the middle of that defense as the leader. And that's where there's a little bit of concern, because it's like, come on, just put the jersey on, get out there and practice. Let's go.
Yeah, and what's even more weird, I think, about the Josh Sweat thing is it's like he's being paid handsomely. Like, it's not like a money thing. Like, so whatever he's disgruntled about, I mean, maybe it's that he's not playing for a winner right now, but we've talked about this before. It's like, you can be a part of the change you want to see. Like, if you want to turn the Cardinals into a winner, I'm not saying it starts with you necessarily, but you will have a strong influence on it. And especially when you talk about him not only making an impact through his play, but through mentoring some of these younger guys. I think there's a big opportunity there. I hope it's just a nothing burger. There were a few other guys on the PUP list. Forgetting their names off the top of my head, but one of them's already come off at least. And these things often aren't like necessarily like injuries. It's like they're just not fully ramped up and ready to go. And again, these practices, these open practices, these close practices, they're not wearing pads. They're going half speed. There's so much NFLPA stuff with the player safety that they just, these real practices. Is it really translating? It's kind of just like walkthroughs of the playbook, essentially, from what I've seen. But either way, whether it's Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping passes wide open, whether it's Jeremiah Love not having anywhere to go, whether it's guys getting arrested, like these things aren't great, but I won't be concerned until we start seeing regular season games. And even then, guys, I'm not going to be concerned because like the bar is so low for this team. I think if anything, like, I don't know about you guys, but my hope for this season is just show flashes, have some good drives in the games, put together a good solid half, give us something to believe in going into the future. Winning games will be nice, but honestly, it's not expected because on top of the lack of talent, we also have like the toughest schedule in the entire NFL. And in a tough division, guys, honestly, like some of these teams like the Seahawks and the Rams are going to have to come back down to earth. Matthew Stafford pretty much at the end of his career. So, I mean, we'll see. I think there is a brighter future on the horizon for this Cardinals team, but they got to start putting in the work this season. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, like I said, next Thursday, first game, the Hall of Fame game kicks off. All eyes are going to be on the Cardinals and the Panthers in Canton, Ohio. Bummed we couldn't be there to see Fitz get inducted into the Hall of Fame, which I think is happening around that same time. So should be a lot of fun. But plenty of time to talk about football and the Arizona Cardinals as that season ramps up. But guys, we are in the dog days of summer. I think it's officially the dog days. We're past the All-Star break. Baseball's still the only show in town right now. And not without controversy. They did get the win tonight, second extra innings game of the week. They dropped the first game of the series against the Pirates in Pittsburgh, picking up the one tonight after 12 innings of struggle. They had a 6-0 lead at one point, but nevertheless, back in the win column. Current record at 56-52 as we record this stream. And man, the biggest story though is yesterday, Ketel Marte scrubs his Instagram of all pictures related to the Arizona Diamondbacks and unfollows the team. Looks like he's got just 2 posts up there. He's followed by the Dbacks, but not following the Dbacks. I joked that maybe he was getting ready to drop an album or something. That's what artists tend to do sometimes. But it's been maybe some frustration. Ketel Marte has been slipping a little bit. And most notably, or I guess infamously in recent memory, is when the end of a game, I don't remember, Tallman, he can probably correct me on this one, but it was in the end of a game, I think maybe against Washington or St. Louis. He had an opportunity. We still had a challenge. Pitch was well above the zone and he didn't challenge it, and it ended the game and we just walked it off. He got a lot of criticism for that. I'm sure he heard about it in the locker room. And this guy is like, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's been proven that he's pretty soft, guys. He's a pretty soft guy. I don't know how he takes criticism. It seems like Torey Lovello's had to baby him through his tenure here. And the trade rumors swirl, but the D-backs can't trade him. They don't hold that power. Ketel Marte would have to ask for a trade and then give his list of teams he'd want to be traded to. And that just makes things real difficult. So for the prospect of that happening midseason, when statistically he is the best player on the team right now, there's no denying that. Like, I think we need Ketel Marte. But Tallman, want to kick it over to you, man. What are you making of the whole Instagram scrubbing and unfollowing?
Oh, this is just silly. What are we in high school? I mean, this is just, it's always something, man. It's something with him around the trade deadline. He's got to do something edgy, right? But no, this is, I'm not reading into it. I'm not sounding the alarms. This is what I boil it down to is I think it's a sensitive player being sensitive. I mean, we know this about him. This is stuff that he does. And you're absolutely right, Chris, where it's, he got a lot of criticism for not, challenging that last pitch. Even yesterday, I mean, he's up there and he swings at the first pitch when the game's on the line and he pops out. And I know for sure he got a talking to in the dugout there, because it's like, why do you swing at the first pitch there? I mean, the game's on the line, sit there, and granted we weren't down to our last out, but it's like, see a couple pitches, find one that you can hit good, and he's just so quick to swing it. So that's part of it. Just someone who obviously doesn't take criticism well. He's that superstar diva in a small market. And it's just silly to me. It's so we're sitting here talking about a grown man's Instagram account. Like, I don't give a shit about your Instagram account. Go out there and hit the baseball, score some runs, man. Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm not buying into it. They're not trading him. Like you said, he's a 10-5 guy. We don't have the power to trade him. If we wanted to even trade him, that would have happened back in December before the season even started. Like, there's no way the Diamondbacks are trading this guy. I mean, we're in buyer mode right now. I still believe that. So you're not getting rid of the best player on your team. That's ridiculous. And I can't picture Ketel Marte. I mean, because think of the teams that are going to sign up for him. It's going to be the Yankees. It's going to be, I don't think the Dodgers need him, but it's going to be the Dodgers. It's going to be these big market teams. It's going to be Philly. These guys are not, like, he's not going to last in these cities. Like, he's so comfortable here, and in Arizona, he's expressed it multiple times that he doesn't want to leave because this is his city. He's been here 95% of his professional career. I mean, he's got an incredible fan base here. He's got a manager that wipes his ass. Like, why would he want to leave? He's not getting paid the most money in baseball for his position, but he's still getting paid pretty good. So he's got it made here. He doesn't want out. This team also doesn't want to trade him because we're literally in the third wildcard spot right now. Granted, there's a lot of baseball left, but we're in position to add at the deadline, not get rid of our best players. So it's just ridiculous. And I mean, this guy, he's so mysterious. He's the most, we've talked about this too before. He's the most mysterious superstar in Arizona sports history because of the language barrier. We know damn well he speaks English, but he doesn't do it. He still talks to the interpreter. It's like, you feel like this guy because you've been watching him for years and years and years in that jersey, but like, you still don't know him, right? It's weird. He's a mysterious, sensitive superstar, and it's just something we got to deal with, guys. It really is.
And that's a great point, because you can really only judge him off his actions, like his gameplay, but then some of the stuff like this that he does off the field. And this is like the type of stuff that's starting to rub people the wrong way. Not to mention, a ton of fans still don't even know or understand what happened after the All-Star break last season, where he just up and left the team. And that is, like you said, Tallman, like a superstar diva move where he's like, I can do whatever I want. And what are they going to do? Fire me? Like, he's almost like calling their bluff in a way. And like, it seemed like that fire had kind of died down a little bit, but obviously there was still some lingering feelings, because anytime he took a day off this year, it was, the same old thing. Oh, Ketel's not a team player. Oh, he's soft. He's this, he's that. When in all honest, and I'll admit, I had those like kind of tongue-in-cheek criticisms as well. But in all honesty, like he hasn't missed that many games, especially relative to everyone else on the team and other superstar players around the league. But I mean, Mike, what did you, as our VSP social media manager, what did you think of, and I think Todd Walsh said it, like a grown man having to go in and ask a player about his Instagram, and then Torrey having to speak about it? What if VSP Tallman scrubbed his Instagram? Would you be worried? I mean, a lot of questions there.
Well, first, I wouldn't be worried about VSP Tallman because I don't know if he has the login information for any of his socials accounts. I've never seen anything reposted about VSP, any stories shared, anything like that. So we're not worried about that. I almost thought this was going to be a nothing burger story for VSP Tallman just off the rip, because like we said, we're talking about, how old are you, Chris? You have the same birthday as this guy. 33 years old? Am I wrong?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm wrong. Okay.
Not yet.
Almost. Anybody over 30 that we're worried about social media is just crazy. But when it comes to superstars, you guys know this. They are the most polarizing figures in sports. So little thing that they do specifically is going to be dissected. Gambo had talked about how maybe this all kind of went down because of how some things have unfolded in his play recently. You guys touched on him. Gamble also touched on, during the Nationals game where he swung at an inside pitch with the bases loaded. Nobody was out. Sure, he wasn't happy about that. But if you look at the total facts about it too, there were multiple personal posts that he took down. It's also the anniversary of his mother's death this week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So there's just a lot of emotional things going on with Ketel, but that goes to the nature of Ketel, of what we've come to know him as. And it's funny that you talked about Todd Walsh, Chris, the Arizona Diamondbacks broadcaster. He had a good quote. He said, he's very clearly, like we all are, a work in progress as an adult. And sometimes I think he loses sight of his actions and how they might reflect on everybody and impact everybody. That's Ketel Marte to a T. It's something that we've seen from him, especially over the past couple of years. And I don't think it's anything that's going to change anytime soon. But it's a nothing burger overall. Even Torrey was basically like, I don't even know what scrubbing means. He talked to Ketel. Everything's in a good spot. I know that everybody wants to make some drama that's taking place here. It's nothing like it seems. So he's not going anywhere. He's still a stud, guys. After a slow start this year, 19 home runs, 61 RBIs, batting average up to 254, 764 OPS. You talk about the 10-5 rights. He loves it here. He's on a team-friendly contract at the same time through 2030 with an option in 2031 where he's only making $11.5 million per year that season as well. So these are just the dog days of summer news stories, but it's something that it's like clockwork. Everything that I saw on X, anybody who had a comment about it is like, here's the Ketel Marte story about frustrations or weird moving in the dark kind of things like Tallman tested to as well. He is a character, man. And I don't think we're ever truly going to know who he really is.
No, I would definitely agree with that. And Mike, you bring up a good point. Like, I'm leaning more towards like it's nothing. Maybe after a tough stretch, some frustration, everything that's happened over the last year or so, maybe he's just signaling that he wants a fresh start. And that doesn't necessarily mean a fresh start on another team. It just means like maybe let's hit the reset button. And if there's one thing I know about baseball players, it's that they can be superstitious. Not like a little stitious, but like superstitious. And maybe he was like, hey, maybe some of these posts, I just need to put it behind me, start clean slate, go for it. Who knows? He could. I don't know if anyone has like done any research on how many people he was following before, but maybe he just went through and like unfollow. And the Dbacks got caught up in the mix. Who knows? I honestly could care less about another grown man's social media. To each their own, right? It's how this new age of fans interacts with teams and players, and I get it. It's part of the whole package. And we say that we don't know a lot about Ketel Marte. Well, maybe by following him on Instagram, you can get to know a little bit about him. I saw the 2 posts there. It looks like he was showing off some fits. Maybe you can see his style a little bit. I don't know. Who knows? Anything is possible. But again, similar to the Jacoby Brissett contract thing, I think this is something that we'll all put behind us. And as the days go by, we won't have to talk about it or think about it anymore. And in a little less than a week, actually, the MLB trade deadline, August 3rd at 3 p.m. The Diamondbacks have 4 more games to play until we reach that deadline. And right now they're sitting at 56 and 52. You guys mentioned it, holding down that 3rd seed in the wild card spot, but a tight race, a lot of baseball left. And this is the game I've loved to play over the last month if we've started to have these conversations, looking at where the Diamondbacks were at this point in the season last year, where we had hoped they'd be buyers, but they ultimately ended up being sellers. This time last year, their record was 51 and 56. So we have 5 more wins now than we did last season. So honestly, I think we're sitting pretty, honestly. And what Mike Hazen or whoever, I forget which of the two, I get him and Derek Hall mixed up when it comes to these quotes, but they said that we're going to be buyers. They put their fork in the ground and said, we are going to be buyers, and things were looking a little shaky there. But as of late, I think they've really picked it up and proven that they should be buyers. But now the conversations are starting about who is out there that we could possibly buy. And with such a tight race, there's a lot of teams that just aren't going to be sellers. So Tallman, I'll kick it over to you, man. When it comes to what's going to happen next Monday or what's not going to happen. Do you anticipate any moves? Do you think it's going to be a bat, a starting pitcher, if there's one to get? What are your expectations?
Yeah, there's going to be some moves, absolutely. Right out of the bat, it's like I think we got to add a starting pitcher. We really do. Mike Soroka's right there on the horizon. Looks like he's going to be back in this rotation soon, which will be incredible. But you got to add somebody else because we saw Zach Gallen pitch his last game as a D-back. There's no way you can justify rolling him back out there after his phantom injury is all cured. Like you can't, because he's proven that he can't win baseball games. So you got to add starting pitcher in there. Trying to think of the name they were throwing out. Was it somebody on the Angels? Is it Detmers, I think?
Reed Detmers?
Yeah, Reed Detmers. That was a dude that they're looking at. The damn thing about this expanded wild card is, I mean, look, you had the standings up there. I mean, look how tight that race is. There's so many more buyers than there are sellers every single year with this expanded wild card. So it's like there's not a lot to choose from, right? Because there's so many teams that are in the same boat as you that think they're a bat and an arm away from doing something special. But I know that was one of the names thrown out there. That would be interesting. Then it's like you gotta do something with first base. I mean, what you do there? I mean, what jumps out at me is Luis Ariz. I mean, the guy can play first base. He played it a bunch in San Diego. I mean, he's batting over 300 right now. The dude he's a contact hitter. He's a professional hitter. He would fit so good in this lineup. He doesn't give you that power, but this is a dude that's always on base. It's a guy that can play first base as well, because what we're doing right now, I'm sorry, Tyler Locklear, he's got some potential. I think he's just not ready. It's the lights are too bright for him this year. He may factor in later down the road, but it's like he's got to go. This can't be what we're looking at. And then, of course, you want to look at adding a power bat too, because, guys, we got to remember, if we make the playoffs, Max Kepler is not going to be able to contribute. He's not going to be with the team. And it's funny that, you know, we scoffed at, oh, Max Kepler's here to save the day. And honestly, he's been one of the hotter bats in that lineup the past couple of weeks. So if he continues this and we make this run, we make the playoffs, you know, that's going to be a big loss. So, and I don't want to sit here and say, oh, this guy's coming back from injuries. You can't count on Jordan Lawler coming back and, you know, just getting off to a hot start and being a contributor. You can't trust Lourdes Gurriel. You just can't, you know, so it's like, you got to bring in at least one guy, if not two guys, to come in that are going to play every single day. And then I want to see that starting pitcher as well. And then bullpen wise, the bullpen's been, you know, the stronger part of this team over the past couple months. You could argue that's not the case the last couple of games. Paul Sewald needs to get the fuck out of town. I mean, like I was texting you guys like last week or something. I said, I don't care how many saves he has. He's so washed up. This guy is just meatball after meatball after meatball. And we saw that in tonight's game. So I know that is, we're waiting on Justin Martinez to come back, which I'm okay with that. J Mart hasn't had any of those setbacks. I'm confident that he'll come back and he'll slide right into that role. And then some of these other guys, I think we're getting a lot of good. I don't know. I'm starting to lose faith in Ryan Thompson, but Taylor Clark, even Kevin Ginkel's got that velocity back up. I mean, Brandon Garcia is incredible left-hander. So we have some good pieces in that bullpen. So starting pitcher and at least two position players, someone that can do, be the DH and actually hit the ball, who doesn't have red hair and isn't named Pavin Smith. I mean, that would be my wish list right there. And it's clear. These are clear, glaring needs that I anticipate will be addressed within the next week.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think this team, if they're going to make the wild card and try and capture lightning in the bottle and recreate the magic from 2023, needs just a little bit more. I don't think this team is there yet to be competitive in the playoffs. And I want to see him make a big splash. I like your prediction that Zach Gallen's pitched his last game. I think there's probably a lot of truth to that. When it comes to the deadline and who goes or who stays, we've kind of speculated, so I'm not going to throw out names, but I do think that if they are able to make a splash and get a big name player that can help contribute right away, don't be surprised if they trade away a prospect that you like. They might have to get rid of a guy that you really like to, sacrifice that long-term future for the short-term goal. But honestly, like our farm system looks pretty good right now, all things considered. Now I know there's probably most teams around the league that get excited about young guys. And I'm sure when we drafted Drew Jones, we were super stoked on him, but he's still young, but he's never come up and it's been a long time. So you can get excited about guys. We just drafted a catcher, I think pretty high, who coming out of Arkansas, his name escapes me, but people are really excited about him. But again, don't expect to see him anytime soon. And if the goal is to win now and to make a push, like I want to see a splash. I want to see a splash. And I like the idea of Justin Martinez coming back. Tallman, you made a lot of good points about what's his face, the Seawald, Paul Seawald. It was like scratching our head when they signed him this offseason. Then we were pleasantly surprised, and now we're on the backside of that roller coaster again, being he is who we thought he was. But man, I'm just I love trade deadlines, guys. Like I honestly do. Whether it's the NBA or the MLB. Trade deadlines tickle my fancy, and when those notifications start coming in, I love seeing my teams involved in those. And sometimes you get bad ones, like when you hear Miles Bridges is becoming a Phoenix Sun, but then sometimes you get good ones, like when the Dbacks sign JD Martinez, and then you get a guy at the deadline who mashes home runs for the back half of the season. So I'm curious to see what happens. I hope something. I want to see him make a move, but curious to see what it is. Mike, where are you at on the spectrum of mortgaging the future versus going for it this year?
Well, you guys know how I feel. I would love to go for it right now because the lockout's incoming. I don't think it's as extensive as I at one point had grossly thrown out a number of 12 to 18 months. It's not going to be that long, but it's definitely going to cut down part of next season, I feel like, for sure. So when there's unknowns and when you're sitting where the Diamondbacks find themselves in a good spot in the final wild card spot going into deadline week, you love it. You got to make some moves. Tallman touched on all of them. You just still really have to be impressed from what the Diamondbacks have done this year, guys. You talk about multiple viable starting pitchers being out or missing time at some point, basically besides Erod. You have a dozen first and second year players that have been used this year and at multiple positions, mind that as well. And the schedule is not calming down at all, it seems like, as well. You got Cleveland, who's fighting for that last spot in the AL. You got San Diego. Yes, they haven't been as great this year, but then here come the Dodgers. Here come the Braves. It's still time to go, and it's time to see where this team is, what this team is truly made of, and continue to show that gumption. This win tonight was so imperative after dropping the National Series, which you absolutely should have won, after losing last night's game as well, which you kind of had a hand in as well. So go win this series, finish off this series against Cleveland, and then get back home and continue to get to work with hopefully some new pieces coming into town.
Yeah, give us something to be excited about and make a good, strong push. Again, last time I'll say, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm eager, and we only have, I think, 6 more sleeps until we see it. 5 more sleeps, whatever it is. It's like Christmas in July, Christmas in August, whatever. And the deadline also happens to be my wife's birthday. So either way, I'll be celebrating something. But yeah, Mike, I got to kick it back to you real quick here after this setup, because we got to talk about it. We got to have the conversation. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that man on the Sixers, LeBron James. I think this is what now is it? Cavs like this is his 4th team, and he didn't make as big of a spectacle this go around as he had in the past. It was just a quiet notification push to our phones via Shams Charania, and we get the news. 2-year deal, $8 million is the veteran minimum, the least amount of money they could possibly pay him. He's like the 7th or 8th highest paid player, I guess, however you want to look at that, on the 76ers. He's going to join Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, and VJ Edgecombe to make a pretty formidable starting five. However, now questions about depth are being raised validly. I think a lot of people are saying that the current, kind of you can almost call it the Oklahoma City Thunder model, where you kind of go depth over star power. And that was, the big three. LeBron kind of started that in the Heat, where it was like, okay, you just need like 3 solid players and a good starting 5, and then we'll figure the rest out from there. But it's kind of shifting. These trends shift and move in the NBA. But Mike, gotta pass it to you, man. What is your reaction to LeBron joining the Sixers?
Well, the first reaction is, I love LeBron James, so thank God that he is leaving the Los Angeles Lakers to finish out his career. I can finally truly embrace my fandom for LeBron James. It was so hard all of these past couple of years with him being in LA. You always still have respect, but you can't root for a guy like that when he's specifically on a direct rival that has basically lasted the entirety of my life. So this was still a shocker, guys. I didn't really have Philadelphia pinned as a location that he would end up. I thought it was going to come down to either him going back to Miami or Cleveland, but it's very, very intriguing to see how this kind of came about. Him only having 2 years, $8 million, and the second year is a player option. So if it doesn't go well this year, he might ride into the sunset or go somewhere else and try to do one final hurrah. It's crazy, but LeBron, I can't believe how good he still is. He averaged 20.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists per game as a 41-year-old. Guys, I can't even imagine putting up those kind of numbers in 5 years for me from now, man. Hopefully I'm scoring 2 buckets in a YMCA run, but it also makes sense why he's going here. He's going because he wants to win. He wants to get one final title, and this is a loaded roster. Just really talented young pieces in Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe going into his second year. They brought back his former teammate when he won in the bubble with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who also is a multi-time champion. But there's going to be high expectations. Sixers haven't won a championship since 1983, and they haven't advanced out of the second round since 2001. It's been 25 years since this team has truly seen any kind of playoff success. But the needle continues to move for LeBron. Ticket resale prices spiked over 300%. All of his jerseys for the Sixers sold out. And corporate consulting projections are estimating that his arrival will bring between $250 million and $430 million in regional economic activity to Philadelphia during his first season. This guy, it's hard to continue to have the conversation about who the GOAT is. I truly think it is LeBron James. All the stats pointed out. His every move is dissected. We talked about that throughout Superstars. And I couldn't be more hyped to see how this works out, because there are a lot of mouths to feed on this Philadelphia 76ers team now. And I am very intrigued to see how it's all going to work out.
Mike, I'm with you. Anybody who says LeBron is not the GOAT, the best of all time, the greatest to ever do it, is not thinking or looking at things objectively. Like, yes, Michael Jordan, greatest of his era, greatest up until that point, but the things LeBron has done in his career, and if you're only using rings as a measure for success, then I don't know, man. I got nothing to say to you, because when we can't even have a conversation. But yeah, man, I think people are kind of seeing this as like a ring chasing move, which it's like, to talk about that, because like rings are important to LeBron, and I get it. Like when it comes to those conversations about LeBron being the greatest, he's kind of a goober. He's kind of a dork sometimes, and his stuff he does off the court, and that's okay. Like I said, look at it objectively. What does he do on the court? You get the LaFlop memes and the LeBron crying memes, and like him doing goofy stuff on the court too. But it's like, we've also seen very, very impressive feats of athleticism that we've never seen before. And at 41 years old, like, his game has changed quite a bit. He's, pulling up from downtown a lot more often, but he can still bully it to the rim. He's still getting those chase down blocks every once in a while. And I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to get 20 a game with a lot of mouths to feed in this starting lineup, but he's still very much capable of it. And the reports I was hearing today is that he's expected to play a good amount of point, which, I guess pushes Tyrese Maxey to the 2 spot. But that's the thing. Like, LeBron can play any position on the court, and when you have that versatility, you're going to be able to tinker with the game plan a little bit. And I don't know. I think this team could be dangerous, but within that, a lot of questions about the health of the players as well. In Joel Embiid being a notorious 30 games a year kind of guy, and LeBron with his age, just taking days off to rest and not doing back-to-backs and things like that. So we'll see. I think it's kind of going to be that mentality for them of, let's stay as healthy as possible and get into the playoffs, and then, let it all loose when the playoffs hit and try and get this ring. But Tallman, to loop you into this conversation, because, I know you have a lot of strong opinions about basketball and LeBron James, but an interesting angle that was coming out is that it's expected that LeBron will not live in Philadelphia. He will, in fact, live in New York City, somewhere in New York City. And he will commute into Philadelphia via helicopter. Now, we don't have to get into the helicopter part for very obvious reasons, but you know sports fans, right? And I guess the big concern is, because at first when I heard the story, I was like, that makes sense. I mean, New York's kind of where it's all happening. It's the heart of America or whatever. But I guess people in Philadelphia really, I'll just say, really fucking hate New York and like the sports and the Knicks and whatever. Do you kind of get that, or you think LeBron will actually get like a lot of like hate from the Sixers fans for living in New York?
Oh, hell no. What do you mean? He's wearing a Sixers jersey, dude. He took pennies on the dollar to come play for that team. They're gonna embrace him with open arms. There's no doubt about it. But come on, I mean, billionaire LeBron, he's gonna live in dirty ass Philly. I mean, this is not surprising. I love all the shit on. There's this one post on Twitter or X where this guy's like, no, LeBron, I am literally going to drive you from New York to Philly every single day for free. You're not getting in a helicopter. Like, obviously, I don't mean to laugh about, not even going to say it, but you know where I'm going with that. He won't have to worry about mountains, so that's good in his helicopter ride over. But did you see someone spelled it out, and they're like, depending, like, these are rough numbers. So he's going to get paid $4 million a year, right? If he flies that helicopter 5 days a week during the season, he's literally going to spend more than half of his $4 million on just flying a helicopter. Like, that's obviously, we know he's a billionaire, but it's just ridiculous. I don't think he gets hate for it, but this shocked me though. I thought for sure he was going to Miami.
Tallman, I'm glad that you brought this up because I have the metrics for you guys. So the flight from Manhattan to Philadelphia, where their practice facility or the stadium is about 45 minutes each way. So if you were to charter a 2-engine helicopter, it runs from about $3,000 to $5,000 per hour. So you're looking at $8,000 round trips per time. 41 home games plus practices. So you're looking at probably 100 plus days of commute. It's equaling about $800,000. And that's on the minimum side. But you talk about different tax brackets, right? LeBron wants to be comfortable towards the end of his career. And Chris, you also said, you got it right. This is a play for a championship. If he wanted to stay close by his kids or his home, I mean, obviously his two older boys are gone. Bronny's with the Lakers still. His youngest is at U of A. His daughter is a little bit younger, but we know this is a 1 or 2 year proposition. If LeBron stays in New York, NYC resident pays about 14.8% combined state and city income tax. And New York taxes residents on everything they earn everywhere. Whereas for Philly residents, they pay a 3.07% flat tax. And on a $4 million salary, it's going to cost him $300,000 or more just to live in New York. But his contract that he's about to make is like 5% of what he makes annually. He makes roughly $80 million a year off the court, just with endorsements, endeavors, whatever he has going on in his everyday life. So literally his salary equals 18 days of him just being alive. So it's like, doesn't even matter. This is the most intriguing part about this situation too. I honestly hope it happens that he ends up being a helicopter and is just flying around everywhere. And hopefully, like at some point, the Phillies are just like, well, you can just go from the practice facility to Charlotte on your helicopter, and we'll like see you there. That'll be the most intriguing. There's anything he does, anything he moves is. It's funny, Chris. I think you said he's kind of a little bit of a cornball. Flying a helicopter and not living in Philly is weird work. But when you live in that different tax bracket, you do weird things.
Indeed. And I can't. I mean, I guess I've never been to Philly. I've been to Western Pennsylvania, but I can't imagine it being like there's not an area closer that's nice enough for LeBron. Like he has to be in New York. And I don't know, like you said, is Savannah gonna move with him? Is his daughter gonna move with him? I don't know what that I don't know what that looks like, but 45 minutes in a helicopter and 90 minutes of your day in a helicopter. Like I have a long commute for work. I do it 3 days a week. It's about 50 to 60 minutes each way. So I would not like to do that more than 3 days a week. So for him to do that, you know, like you said, Mike, maybe like even 4 or 5 times a week is a lot. Like, I guess, man, I guess rich people are going to do rich people things. I also heard, I don't know how true it is, but you know, there's also, I wonder about situations of inclement weather, especially, you know, a majority of the NBA season is during the colder months. I've heard there's often dense fog and helicopters not being cleared for takeoff. So if what's the contingency plan if the helicopter can't take off and he has to drive there? What's that drive look like? If it's a 45-minute helicopter ride, I mean, I'd still assume it's drivable in a day, but are we talking 3 hours? Like, I don't know, man. So I guess maybe like the plan would probably be like get up early, get there as early as possible to, if on game days, especially if there are these situations, what happens? Like, what's the backup plan, LeBron? Like, I don't know, man. And like, obviously with the obvious, you know, helicopter implications, not the safest method of travel out there. Obviously what happened with Kobe Bryant, but also just recently with the artist Oliver Tree, who tragically passed away in Rio. Like helicopter accidents happen much more regularly than plane crashes, or I don't want to say car crashes, because obviously car crashes happen every day. Just ask Kyle Shanahan. But I mean, man, yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to get caught up on the late chopper, let LeBron helicopter, but it's an interesting story, and I'm sure people will be eating that up. But fellas, yeah, I mean that's the agenda there. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to get off your chest today?
So I got 2 more quick things if you guys want to chop it up about it, really.
Hell yeah.
You guys did touch on one of them. So our guy, Trey McBride, we love him, best tight end in the NFL. He did finally walk back his comments that he made on Bussin' with the Boys. He basically said, I probably shouldn't have said that. It came out wrong, and obviously the fan base is great. We have a tremendous fan base. Arizona's been here, loyal fans to all the sports teams here, and we're very lucky to have a lot of these guys, and we're going to have a great season. I don't know about that. Hopefully we do win some games. I'm appreciative. I think this was in response to, we had a sit down with somebody at ESPN at training camp or something like that. So I think it was only a matter of time where he was probably going to say something, because I'm sure he started to get it from the corners. And if he is somebody that's online, I'm sure there was people like, hey man, you might not have that much support right now, but you can't drag down the people that are supporting you, especially in the state that you currently live and play for. So, or maybe it was just all of us slumming it in Chandler finally came with pitchforks to his house and were like, hey, you better walk that back or we'll really pull you to the slums of Chandler on Arizona Avenue down by Chandler Liquors. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Did you guys see that he walked it back? How are you feeling? This is still a nothing burger story, but I'm proud that he said, hey, I see that you have fans. Still there.
Yeah, so obviously, yeah, I saw it. What a loser. He should have doubled down. He should have been like, should be like, no, fuck them fans. You ever driven through Chandler? It's a slum. I would have respected that more. No, I'm kidding. I'm not surprised he apologized for it. And you're a public figure here in Phoenix. You got to save face. And so not surprised he apologized, but man, where are the balls? He's got no balls.
Yeah, I would have been okay with the double down. I would have been okay with no apology, because the apology just kind of, especially, I don't know, it just came off as kind of like not genuine. You know, it's kind of like a PR answer, which it's like, you didn't need to apologize. Like, I don't think anybody was actually that upset. Like, yeah, you might have gotten ribbed for it for a while. You know, people being like, oh, if I don't exist, Trey, then why am I here? Like, and nobody thought he literally feels like there's no Cardinals fans. Like, he's in the stadium. He sees a ton of people wearing red. Granted, he also sees half the crowd wearing blue or any other team color, but it's hyperbole, guys. We're allowed to be hyperbolic. It's not like any of us have never done that before. I mean, I guess there are people out there who are just super literal. But no, I reject his apology. And until he apologizes for calling Chandler the slums, I refuse.
That's the biggest thing. All the other stuff, like you said, the hyperbole of it all, the jokes, it was dude, the Bussin' with the Boys guys are not serious people. Like, let's be honest. Whatever is said on that podcast, take with a grain of salt. They have good interviews, but I'm just saying he's having some fun with the boys. It literally is in the name of the podcast. But when you come from my hometown and you specifically call them out and you call it the slums, we're gonna have some issues. And it's joking issues, right? It's still fun in nature. We know that Trey is very appreciative of his time here and what he's built, his brand, and how he continues to grow and become the face of the NFL from the tight end position. I wish him nothing but success, and I'll take his apology. You guys won't? I'll take it. At least one of us has to take it. But the last story I do have for you guys, I don't know if you saw this. Love is in the air, guys. We always love a good love story. Did you see that Devin Booker is linked to Irina Shayk? Do you know who this person is? Let me ask you that. Do you know who this is?
Well, that was gonna be my first question. Is who?
Yeah, I don't even have to answer that. You know, I need a shake. Like shake.
Your boy came prepared. Shake. Of course, I knew you guys didn't know who this is, so I have the information. Devin Booker, who's 29, is now linked to Irina Shayk, who is 40 years old. She is 11 years older than him. God. She is a Russian supermodel and actress, and they were introduced by mutual friends a few months ago, and it sounds like they're really into each other, and they're trying to spend a lot of time together this summer before Devin starts his training. The source said, expect to see Irina at some of his games. She is very into him. But, dude, her dating profile, it's got some heavy hitters. She dated Cristiano Ronaldo for 5 years in the early 2010s. She has a baby with Bradley Cooper, and she's had an on and off again situationship, I guess, with Tom Brady, linked back to the latest just in 2025. So love is in the air. You always love a good love story, man. I know a lot of people were wondering if one day they'd ever hint, when I say they, I talk about him and Kendall Jenner, if they'd work it out. I know a couple of months ago, he made a comment on one of her posts, and he said something about coming to rub his feet, and people were like, oh, is it rekindling? No, it's Devin Booker is on to Irina Shayk, the Russian supermodel. So
this is interesting, Mike. I have a lot to say and I have nothing to say. I guess maybe maybe he's been spending too much time with Jalen Green when it comes to hunting cougars. I mean, Devin, you do you, man. I mean, I can kind of understand. I mean, he's 29, going to be 30 soon. He's always kind of been a more poised, more mature guy, really reserved. But somehow he keeps pulling women that are in the public eye a lot. So it's kind of weird that he's kind of this like low key, reserved guy, but then he's going to be dating people that are super in the limelight. But I guess, opposites attract, and maybe that's what these women like, is that he isn't super like out there and this and that and the next thing. But if he's happy, I'm happy. Interesting. This is the first time I'm ever hearing of this woman.
Love knows no boundaries or age limits, Christopher. You know this. And hey, some people would say you can't call Devin Booker not a superstar anymore when he's pulling women like Irina Shayk. So congrats to the kid, man. We love here over at VSP.
There you go. Hopefully she can shake 30 points a game out of him next season.
Yeah, somebody's got to.
That's good. That's good. Well, last question, I guess, on the since you brought it up, Mike. What's your favorite Bradley Cooper movie?
Ooh, that is such a good question. You can always do the simple Hangover, right? But oh no. There's one where he's a chef that was really good.
Oh
yeah. I wanted to see that Burn. Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, Burnt.
It was okay.
I enjoyed that one. I think you always just have to go to The Hangover. Like The Hangover came out right at the tail end of my high school career when I graduated. Like that movie and Superbad are so intertwined with my high school experience. It's just an absolute classic. The one that I know that a lot of people always say and they love is the one where he was the sniper guy. What is that? Is that Sniper?
American Sniper.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that one. So that's on the list. I liked Silver Linings Playbook too. That was a good one too. Bradley Cooper's a good actor, man. I enjoy what he makes.
A Star is Born. That's yours, huh, Chris?
Yeah, that's honest. I watched that. I watched
that is a good movie.
On a Southwest flight from Phoenix to Dallas.
You shed some tears, didn't you?
Yeah, we shed some tears. Me and my wife watched it on our way to Ben Miller's wedding.
That's Lady Gugu. She's in that movie.
Yeah,
Lady Gaga. Yeah,
Lady Gaga. Yeah,
Gaga.
A Gigi. All right.
You guys are forgetting the 2011 classic Limitless.
Never seen it.
Really?
Oh, no. That one was good.
It was good. I think what I like,
and he's like super smart.
Yeah, it's like you know the concept, like he takes an experimental drug that unlocks 99% of your brain because we only use 10% of our brain or whatever.
Yeah.
Ignoring, I mean, it's a fun premise, but like the reason we don't use 100% of our brain is because then you would have to literally think about breathing and walking and like every muscle movement. That's besides the fact. It's a great concept. I like it. Ended up getting turned into a TV show. But I think the other one, like obviously I think Hangover is probably the one. A Star is Born is good. But I think the one that kind of goes under the radar is all of his movies and his role as the voice of Rocket in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers. That's one of those ones where I think I told my wife when we were watching it, I was like, yeah, you know that's Bradley Cooper, right? And she's like, no. And it's like, yeah, voice acting, much different ball game. But yeah, I do like me some Bradley Cooper, but yeah, Mike, interesting topic. I love it. Well, fellas, we're at about 67 minutes. So I think 67. I think it's time we wrap this one up and get out of here. As always, I want to give you each the floor one last time to share any thoughts, anything you got going on. So VSP Tallman, let's kick it to you first, brother. What you got, man?
Well, yeah, thank you so much. Always fun, guys. Seems like I learn something new every time we do a stream. I learned who Irina Shayk is. So that wasn't on my bingo card tonight. So thank you guys for that. But always a good time.
Yeah, Tallman, man, it's what we're here for, because we know you're not dialed in on the social media and everything happening. So somebody's got to keep you in tune.
She was born in the Soviet Union. Look at that. So that's how you know she's a cougar.
Just because she's from the Soviet Union?
Yeah, it stopped existing in like 1993 or something.
Oh my God. Okay, I'll just take it away. See, but that's why I bring these news stories to you, Tallman, because I am a little bit chronically online and I know you lost your passwords. So I just got to make sure that, I'm keeping you up to date with the news of today. And this is a big one. Our boy is in love. How can you not celebrate that, man? I'll be at the Suns game trying to get a glimpse of what's her first name? I already forgot her name. I feel bad.
It's Irina in the arena.
No. There's just so much to be excited about, guys. Even though expectations can be low for some of our teams, we're still kind of in situations of, was this the best move for others? But you know how it is. Anytime a season comes and goes, and specifically as a new one begins, there's always that breath of fresh air, and we have that with the Arizona Cardinals right now. We will be recording our 2026 season predictions in just a couple of weeks. So that is always one of my favorite times of the year. I know it's always one of VSP Tallman's favorite times of the year, and I'm very intrigued to see where that one win is going to come from for the Arizona Cardinals for VSP Tallman. But Chris Tallman, I appreciate you guys as always. Chris, take us home, man.
Yes, sir. It is always a pleasure and never a chore. Mike, thanks for bringing the extra stories today. And as Justin Timberlake would say, this just can't be summer love. Guys, this was the Heat Check. This wasn't the Heat Check. This was VSP Live. We go live every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you can always know when we're going live and posting new content. You can follow us at AZ_VSP on Instagram, X, TikTok, and so much more. All those links are down in the description below or right here at this QR code. Again, scan that with your phone, your wife's phone, your girlfriend's phone, your husband's phone, your brother's phone, your sister's phone, whoever you're nearby, grab their phone, scan it, make sure they're following, make sure you're following, and tune in every Tuesday at 7:30. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Things up here, and for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there, thanks for being with us tonight, and from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long for now.